Come for a walk with me to Fairchild Tropical Botanical Gardens in Coral Gables, Florida.
Welcome aboard SailingWindGypsy. We're always glad to have you here. We hope you enjoy this special edition of Lisa touring the Fairchild Botanical Gardens.
I just thought this was a really good picture of, I think these are the black mangroves that have the rootlets coming up from the ground, and they grow in drier conditions. But you can see how virtually impassable this is if you're walking. And they do have other trees growing in interspersed here occasionally among the mangroves. So there's this super colorful lizard. He's green and white and orange and gray. Very attractive. He's been running away from me, but here he's posing on a tree at the Matheson Nature Trail. Let me take his handsome picture. And here's a ibis, and apparently these are very, very common and not native to Florida. I don't know if you can see it, but there's like this whole herd of iguana over there just running through the grass. Now they've stopped, so they're harder to see. I don't know if I can get close enough to get them on the camera without having them run away, but most of them have run into the trees, but there's a few left. Like little mini dinosaurs. Although not that mini. I think that one's like 2 feet long. Oh yeah, they're just all over here. Anyway, this is part of the Matheson hammock. Oh, look at this guy. Absolutely prehistoric. Anyway, this is the Matheson Hammock Nature Trail. This is the picnic area. It's beautiful. Lovely grassy, if a little damp area. And this nice shelter from thunder and lightning. A bunch of little lizards running around over here. All of the buildings here at Matheson Hammock are made out of these cut blocks of fossilized coral, which is really interesting. And I think this is a stand of live oaks, and I'm only saying that because it sort of looks like the way live oaks grow, and they're covered with these epiphytic plants. There's even a little strand, it looks like, of Spanish moss on some of them. I think that is a bromeliad there. Super, super dramatic landscape. I'm still keeping my eye out for the big reptiles. A crocodile, since we're near the salt water. There's a squirrel, more familiar animal to me. Even have some loblolly longleaf pine trees growing here. I would have thought this was a little far south for their preferred. And there's shoot, can't remember the name of that tree with the multiple trunks. It'll come to me in a few minutes. But those are pretty common here in South Florida and in the Keys. They can be impressively large with the multiple rootlets or trunklets coming down from the branches. And right next to Matheson Hammock Park is Fairchild Tropical Botanic Gardens. So this impressive orchid basket here at Fairchild Botanical Gardens. Admission is $25 for adults, but you get a $5 discount, an eco discount if you walk or bike here. Of course, I biked here, or walked here from the boat. It's maybe a mile. Beautiful mural here. And the gardens are absolutely exquisite. Just an amazing variety of tropical plant life. Nothing like I have ever seen before, being from Michigan. You know, even in the indoor botanical gardens, you can't grow this variety and this size of tropical plants. And just curious what this monster is. Oh, there's a kapok tree. We saw an enormous kapok tree in Key West. Characteristic are these buttress-like roots. We still have some life jackets that are so old that they're still stuffed with kapok. Even the walkway here is beautifully decorated with these imprints of tropical leaves. A beautiful pergola over there. It's a beautiful pond. You can't grow this in Michigan. And it certainly doesn't look like this on May 1st. Although I have to say there's nothing that contributes to the joy of springtime than knowing that you just survived 4 months of cold and dark and wet and uncomfortable, and all the plants are coming back to life. I don't think you can appreciate that here where it's lush and beautiful year-round. This is the spiny plant garden. That is the giant iguana bush. Scared the heck out of me. And there's another one over there. This exhibit is in the process of being created, and I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. Right now it's just a giant hole in the ground, but it does go to show that yes, here in Florida it is more than hard coral outcroppings with a thin layer of soil and mangroves around the edge. Although I take that back, because it looks like this was dug out of hard coral, fossilized coral. It's really impressive how many plants I've seen down here that we in Michigan keep in our houses as house plants. This looks like a banana tree, or a banana stem, I guess. And this amazing monster over here, hopefully it has a identification. Baobab tree. I think those are native to Africa. Oh yeah, there it says. Sub-Saharan Africa and the Arabian Peninsula, planted in 1939. And it truly is impressive. And this is something that is so common for us to see in Michigan, but relatively uncommon in trees here in Florida, at least that I've observed, is a tree enjoying a dormant period. And of course in Michigan, almost all our trees enjoy a dormant period, drop their leaves for several months in the wintertime. Here's flowers that we plant as annuals in the garden, growing wild here. And these lantana, same thing. And another popular house plant. In fact, I had one of these in my house, and I don't remember who I gave it to, but I might have even left it at my house. I hope they're enjoying it. And thinking of us in tropical Florida. This interesting looking tree with spines growing out the trunk, native to Peru and Argentina. I want to call these philodendron, but that's, I don't think that's what they're called. And these look like elephant ear, both indoor plants in Michigan, or you can plant them outside, as long as you're okay with letting them die when it gets cold, or lifting the roots and saving them for the next year. Again, this looks like a live oak with the saprophytic Spanish moss hanging from it. Nothing says you're in the South like a live oak with moss. Recognize this one from Bahia Honda. This is a silver palm. I'm always impressed with this as I struggled to grow orchids inside my dry house in the winter time. They just flourish here as almost wildflowers. Lots of people plant them in their trees. And we did see many private gardens from the water that looked a lot like this, surrounding beautiful multi-million-dollar waterfront homes. But here you can come and enjoy that same garden environment without the upkeep for a small fee. Or you can become a yearly member for about $100, and I think you get almost unlimited visits with that. Wow. If any of our friends or relatives watching this has been to the Botanical Gardens, the Arboretum in on Belle Isle, you can really appreciate what it takes to grow these enormous tropical trees indoors in a less than temperate climate. This is a timburi, native from Argentina to Brazil. Oh, I think we're getting into dinosaur land. They have a dinosaur exhibit here. And I'm not talking about the lizards, the live lizards. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. This enormous animatronic dinosaur. Okay, that alone is worth the price of admission. No need to have Jurassic Park. And I hear another dinosaur over here. Ooh, guarding a nest of dinosaur eggs. With those teeth, I'm staying away. Now this, quite frankly, just sort of looks like another Florida golf course, which in itself is amazing because none of these trees and plants grow native in Michigan, so it's not something you see at all. Sort of reminds me of the gardens at Cranbrook and Bloomfield Hills for our friends and relatives who live in Michigan. Except the plants are all different. I think these are called thatch palms. And this is what you use to thatch your tiki hut. I am here by myself. Richard is watching Ginger. Dogs aren't allowed in the park, not allowed in Matheson Hammock Park, and certainly not allowed in the Botanical Gardens. And Ginger would cry all day if we left her alone on the boat without us. Ginger might cry all day just with me being gone. She'd cry harder if it was Richard who left. But here's another one of these dinosaur models. And I think I'm glad this one is not one of those moving animatronic models, because that'd be sort of scary, even though it looks like it's a plant eater. The Brachiosaurus. Oh my God, I spoke too soon. It's just slow moving. But its jaw is moving and its tail is swinging. And again, who needs Jurassic Park? How many times have we seen this encounter in old movies about dinosaurs? And there'd be a little caveman in there too, of course. You know, the caveman and the dinosaurs weren't in existence at the same time. And I'm not even sure that these two species of dinosaur were in existence at the same time. But an impressive display nonetheless. Oh my gosh! Look who we come across fighting over mates or territory. Ooh, that one even is giving me the eyeball. I don't like that. And here we got some lizards evolving into birds. I must say, every time I look at a pelican, it reminds me of a dinosaur. I'm waiting for it to move suddenly and scare me. Okay, and here's another view, because who could not be impressed with the Tyrannosaurus Rex against the, not a Triceratops, because it only has 2 horns. Oh, yes, it is a Triceratops. Oh, there's the 3rd horn on its nose. Yeah. The classic grudge match. defending its baby. How cute. Who doesn't remember herds of these going across the plains in front of the raging fires or the erupting volcanoes? I can't remember what the movie was, but it was the baby dinosaur looking for its parents. And I think this was one of my nephew's favorite dinosaurs, the Stegosaurus. My nephew, of course, is now something like 30 years old, but you know, who didn't have their favorite dinosaur as a child? We're proceeding now to the sunken garden, which is a treat because the temperature has already dropped 10 degrees here. Oh, the other thing is the smell of the blooming plants. Odors that I'm definitely not used to. Although I do think we have a fern like this in Michigan. I think that's lady fern. And this beautiful sunken grotto. It is sort of crazy how the sound of these animatronic dinosaurs just draw you along the path. Oh my gosh, and look at this one. I'm glad it's in that rope enclosure. Otherwise I'd be a little scared it was going to come running after me. And here is a furry, feathery dinosaur for your enjoyment. The Anzu. This is the entrance to the Tropical Fruit Pavilion, and I can already smell tropical fruit as I start to enter. Ooh, the cacao tree, and we know what that makes. Chocolate. I'm looking for my other favorite, the coffee tree. Oh, a mangosteen, which I've never eaten a mangosteen. I think that's Southeast Asia. And here is the second part of this display. The little lizard there. Amazing. So I sat here on the bench and enjoyed lunch with this lady. I think the resemblance is sort of uncanny. But this is a sculpture of Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, a famous Florida environmentalist. Again, the amazing ease of growing orchids where orchids belong, in the tropics. One of the amazing sculptures here this part of the garden is finely misted to create the rainforest environment, the ultra high humidity that I guess some of these plants need. Creating a rainforest environment here in South Florida. And here's more dinosaur animatronics. Oh, a very colorful velociraptor. And this is probably not unlike the climate that Velociraptor would have enjoyed. So here's more of the cloud forest, artificially created by this fine mist. And it is May 1st here. And it's actually a pretty pleasant day, maybe 80 degrees. They were predicting thunderstorms from Miami to Fort Lauderdale. So we decided to stay in Matheson Hammock another day and hope for better weather tomorrow. And I am sort of glad that we did, because it would have been a shame to miss. This spectacular botanical garden that is, of course, nothing like anything I've ever seen. And what you're hearing is moisture dripping down from the tree overhead. Now, standing here, you could possibly imagine that you were in Michigan. Still waiting to see one of these, other than the one that was in the water near our dinghy at Cape Sable. And this tree, which I've seen in many South Florida gardens, is frangipani, and it has these beautiful flowers at the ends of the branches. And I don't know if it ever has more leaves than this. We've only been here in the winter, and this is what they've always looked like when I've seen them. Again, more banana stems, and these have a lot of fruit. There you can see right there the banana fruit. And here's an up-close picture of the banana fruit in situ on the tree. Of course, it's not a tree, it's a fleshy plant stem. I came up to this tree and I was thinking, wow, it looks a little bit like a beech, with the light gray smooth bark and sort of the shape and structure of the leaves. And this is a Malay beechwood. So this is what your beeches look like in Malaysia. Although it technically is not even a member of the beech family. I'm sure it was just Europeans who looked at this tree and said, oh, it sort of reminds me of a beech tree back home in England or Europe. This is an interesting tree here. It doesn't have a name tag, although I'm sure it'd be easy to look up the name of a tree with these pastel colors on its bark. Really, really interesting. Again, just a fantastic variety of plants that I have never seen and probably will never see anywhere else. I can smell blooming flowers right now because all of these flowers here are in bloom. I'm sure it's one of them or many of them that I'm smelling right now. Ah, where to go next? Where to go next? So many paths to choose from and so little time. You could truly spend several days here at the Fairchild Tropical Gardens and not appreciate the variety of plants. Well, clearly not a pineapple. It has got to be related to the pineapple. And here is yet another variety. We do have a special butterfly garden, but you really don't need one when you have this many flowering plants. You get a lot of butterflies anyways. And I think I am back now at the entrance and the visitor center. Although there is an incredible amount to see that I haven't even touched on, I had better be getting back before Richard sends the police out to find me. We stayed several days at Matheson Hammock in Coral Gables, Florida, and Matheson Hammock Park has its own nature trails and a coral saltwater atoll that you can swim in and is quite lovely. It's also about 1 mile walking distance to Fairchild Tropical Botanical Gardens. If you are anywhere in the Miami area, it is worth taking at least a day to go and visit the Fairchild Tropical Botanical Gardens.
We couldn't do this great adventure without the help of John and James Brawley, Hunter Woods, Zach Cupp, and Greg Holland. And thanks to our viewers. It's encouraging to think that these videos might inspire, encourage, entertain, or maybe even just amuse you.